I messaged the family chat, "My daughter is stranded at school after the last bus left. I need someone to pick her up." My mom answered, "Absolutely not." My sister replied, "Your kids should learn nobody is coming." My brother reacted with laughing emojis. I sent one last text. That tells me enough. At 9:17 p.m., my father picked up a call he wasn't ready for. The text from Henna arrived at 5:30 p.m. while I was on I-40 westbound, 180 miles from Knoxville, hauling a load of industrial shelving to a warehouse in Jackson, Tennessee. The text was 4 sentences. "Dad, the bus left. The science fair ran late and I missed it. I am at the school. Can someone come get me?" The "can someone come get me" was the sentence that mattered, not "can you come get me?" Someone, my 11-year-old daughter, used the word someone, because my 11-year-old daughter knows that her father drives a truck for a living, and the truck is not always close, and the not close is the job, and the job is the reason she has a phone, and a backpack, and a school to attend, and a bus to miss. She did not ask me to come. She asked for someone. And the someone was the question I put to the family chat at 5:35 p.m. My daughter is stranded at school after the last bus left. I am on the road, 180 miles out. She is alone in the parking lot. I need someone to pick her up. Mom and Dad, you are 12 minutes away. Please. I type please at the end because the please is the asking and the asking. Is what you do when your daughter is sitting in a school parking lot after dark and you are in a truck cab on I-40 and the distance between the two is 180 miles and the miles are the job and the job cannot stop. 4. A pickup in the family is 12 minutes away. Nev responded at 5:44 p.m. 9 minutes after my message. 9 minutes of reading the text and considering it and deciding. And the deciding produced 4 words. Absolutely not. I am not driving across town because you cannot manage your schedule. You should have planned better. The plan better was the blade. The planning she referenced was the planning of a man who drives 12-hour shifts 6 days a week to keep a mortgage and a child and a phone plan and a family's invisible bills afloat. And the planning did not include the science fair running 40 minutes late, and the bus leaving on schedule, and the girl standing in a parking lot with a purple backpack and a phone and a father who is 180 miles away. Ula responded at 5:48 p.m. My sister, 30 years old, lives 20 minutes from the school, has a car, has time, has the ability to drive 20 minutes and pick up an 11-year-old from a parking lot and drive 20 minutes back. 40 minutes of her evening. The 40 minutes she chose not to spend. Your kids should learn nobody is coming. You chose to be a single dad and a truck driver. That is your problem. Stop treating us like your emergency service. Henna can sit on a bench for an hour. It will not kill her. Maybe she will learn to be less helpless, like her father should have learned years ago. Nobody is coming. The sentence a 30-year-old woman typed to a family chat about an 11-year-old girl sitting alone in a school parking lot after dark. Nobody is coming. 3 words that are not about a bus or a schedule or a pickup. 3 words that are about a family's position, which is, the girl is not our responsibility, the girl's father is not our priority, and the girl can sit in the dark and learn the lesson we are teaching her, which is, nobody is coming. Marl responded at 5:49 p.m. My brother, 28 years old, 3 laughing emojis, no text. The emojis were the response of a man whose contribution to his niece sitting alone in a parking lot after dark is the digital equivalent of watching and laughing. The laughing that is not funny, but is cruelty formatted as humor. The humor that requires a girl alone in a parking lot to be the joke. Tarn did not respond. My father, 61 years old. Online, the online indicator was visible on the chat. He read the messages. He read Neb's absolutely not. He read Ula's nobody is coming. He saw Marl's emojis. And he typed nothing. The nothing was not absence. The nothing was presence without action, which is agreement without words, which is the most efficient form of endorsement because it requires no effort and produces no evidence and leaves no text to screenshot. I read the 4 responses. The absolutely not. The nobody is coming. The 3 laughing emojis. The silence. 4 responses from 4 people who live within 20 minutes of the school where my daughter is sitting on her purple backpack in a parking lot because the curb is wet and the backpack is waterproof, and the sitting is the waiting, and the waiting is a girl alone after dark. I typed one last message at 5:51 p.m. That tells me enough. 4 words. The 4 words were not a threat. The 4 words were a receipt. The receipt for a conversation that documented, in timestamp text, what the family's position is regarding the 11-year-old who shares their last name and their blood and their family chat and who is sitting in a parking lot that none of them will drive to. I called Lad. My dispatcher, 52 years old. He was at the freight office in Knoxville finishing the evening log. Lad, Henna missed the bus. She is at Carnes Elementary. I am on I-40, 3 hours out. I need someone to get her. Carol is home. She is 15 minutes from Carnes. I will call her now. Lad called his wife Carol. Carol drove to Carnes Elementary. She arrived at 6:17 p.m. Henna had been in the parking lot for 47 minutes. 47 minutes of sitting on a purple backpack on wet concrete in a school parking lot with the lights of the building behind her and the dark of the parking lot in front of her and a phone in her hand that had sent 1 text to her father and received 4 responses from a family chat, none of which said, I am on my way. Carol found Henna sitting against the flagpole. She was wearing her jacket zipped to the chin. Her backpack was under her. Her phone was in her lap, the screen dark, the battery at 14% because the battery had been draining for 47 minutes of a girl checking the screen every 2 minutes to see if someone had texted I am on my way, and nobody had texted I am on my way, and the checking was the hoping, and the hoping drained the battery. The way hoping drains everything, slowly, steadily, and without the hope knowing it is being drained. Carol said, Hi, sweetheart. Your dad sent me. Let us get you home. Henna stood up. She picked up her backpack. She got in Carol's car. She did not cry. The not crying of an 11-year-old who has been sitting alone for 47 minutes is not bravery. It is the absence of surprise. The absence of surprise is what happens when a child has learned, before the family chat confirmed it, that the coming is not guaranteed, and the not guaranteed is the family. And the family is the lesson, and the lesson arrived before the chat. Welcome to Betrayal Unfolded, where the person who drives 600 miles a week for other people's freight cannot get his family to drive 12 minutes for his daughter, and the dispatcher's wife showed up before the grandmother did. If your family has ever told your child that nobody is coming while you are working to keep them funded, subscribe now. Because the chat is screenshotted, and the calls start at 8 p.m., and the 9:17 call is the one the father was not ready for. My name is Dre Rusk. I am 35 years old. I am a long-haul truck driver at Ridgeline Freight out of Knoxville, Tennessee. I haul industrial equipment, building materials, and commercial supplies across a 4-state route: Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama, and Georgia. My salary is $58,000 a year. I drive 6 days a week. I am home Sunday through Monday morning. The rest of the week, I am in a truck cab on a highway. And the highway is the distance between me and my daughter. And the distance is the job. And the job is the reason the mortgage is paid, and the lights are on, and the backpack has school supplies in it, and the phone has a plan on it. My dispatcher Lad is 52. He has been in freight for 26 years. He is the person whose wife drove 15 minutes to pick up a girl whose grandmother would not drive 12. 18 minutes from Lad's promise to Carol's arrival at Carnes. 18 minutes for a dispatcher's wife who had never met Henna to do what 4 family members within 20 minutes refused to do. When I called Lad back that evening, after the cancellations, he said the thing that became the frame for every call I made that night: you drive 600 miles a week for other people's freight. Your family will not drive 12 minutes for your daughter. Cancel the freight you haul for them. Every mile, every dollar, every payment. Cancel it all. Lad is right. The freight I haul for my family is not boxes on pallets. The freight is mortgage payments and car loans and phone lines and the invisible infrastructure that keeps four adults comfortable while the man who provides it is on I-40 and his daughter is in a parking lot. The favoritism is not about me. The favoritism is about Henna. The family does not refuse to help me. The family refuses to help my daughter. The distinction is the cruelty, because the distinction means the problem is not the distance or the schedule or the inconvenience. The problem is the girl. The girl who is quiet and careful and draws horses in the margins of her homework and reads chapter books in the backseat of the truck when she rides with me on short routes. The girl who makes her own lunch and packs her own backpack and does not ask for things, because the not asking is what children learn when the asking has been met with absolutely not often enough that the child stops asking. Henna is 11. She has been making her own lunch since she was 9. She ties her own shoes, packs her own bag, walks to the bus stop alone, and manages her homework without being asked. The managing is the independence that Ula called helpless, and the calling of independence helpless is the inversion that makes Ula's cruelty specific. The girl is the opposite of helpless, and the opposite is the reason Ula resents her, because the opposite is competence, and the competence came from a truck driver. And the truck driver's competence is the thing the family does not respect. When Ula's son needed to be picked up from daycare last March because Ula's car had a flat tire, I drove 40 minutes from a job site to get him. 40 minutes. For Ula's son. The same Ula who typed nobody is coming about my daughter 4 months later. I picked up her son in 40 minutes, and she would not pick up my daughter in 20. When Marl needed a ride to the airport last November for a trip to Miami that I was not invited to, I drove him at 4 a.m. 4 a.m. 45 minutes to McGee Tyson Airport. The same Marl who sent laughing emojis about my daughter sitting alone in a parking lot. I drove him to the airport for a vacation, and he laughed at my daughter in a parking lot. My ex-wife moved to Asheville 3 years ago. She calls Henna on Wednesdays. The calls last 6 to 9 minutes. She sends $480 on the first. The $480 in the 6 minutes are the shape of a mother at 90 miles, and the 90 miles are hers, and the rest is mine. What my family does not know is what I haul for them. Parents' mortgage supplement, $1,100 a month for 3 years, $39,600. Because Tarn retired at 59 on a pension that covers $900 of the $2,000 monthly mortgage, and the gap between $900 and $2,000 is $1,100, and the $1,100 has been leaving my checking account on the 28th of every month for 36 months. 36 deposits. $39,600. From a truck cab to a mortgage company to a house where a man sat in a recliner and watched a chat where his granddaughter was told nobody is coming and contributed nothing. Ula's car, a Nissan Sentra. I co-signed the loan 2 years ago, $310 a month, $7,440. Because Ula's credit score was 510 after 2 missed rent payments and a defaulted credit card. And the 510 was not enough for an auto loan, and the not enough became my signature on a co-signer line at the dealership on Kingston Pike, and the signature was the reason Ula has a car. And the car was 20 minutes from Carnes Elementary at 5:48 p.m. when Ula typed nobody is coming and the car stayed in her driveway. Because the driving was not Ula's priority, and the priority was the lesson she wanted to teach an 11-year-old, which was, nobody is coming. The lesson was correct. Nobody came. Except the dispatcher's wife, who is not nobody. The dispatcher's wife is Carol, and Carol drove. Marl's phone, on my family plan. $75 a month for 3 years. $2,700. Because Marl's previous carrier canceled his individual plan after 4 months of non-payment, and the cancellation became my line item because Marl needs a phone for work, and the work was sporadic warehouse shifts, and the phone was mostly used for social media and group chats, and on one specific evening, 3 laughing emojis about a girl in a parking lot. Parents' cable and internet, $145 a month for 2 years. $3,480. Because Tarn watches ESPN and Nev watches Hallmark, and the watching requires cable, and the cable requires internet, and the requiring became my visa statement every month. Total invisible support, $39,600 mortgage, plus $7,440 car, plus $2,700 phone, plus $3,480 cable. $5,320 from the man who drives trucks to the family that told his daughter nobody is coming. That evening, 8 p.m. Henna was at home with Carol, who had stayed until I called and confirmed arrangements with a neighbor for the night. Henna had eaten dinner. Carol had made her a grilled cheese and tomato soup, the meal of a woman who understands that an 11-year-old who has been sitting in a parking lot for 47 minutes needs warmth, and the warmth is not just the soup. The warmth is the adult who showed up. Henna had done her homework at the kitchen table. She was on the couch with a blanket pulled to her shoulders and her phone, on her chest and her eyes closed, and the closing was the exhaustion of a girl whose day had included a science fair and a missed bus in 40, 7 minutes on a backpack, and the specific tiredness that comes from waiting for someone who was not going to come and being found by someone who was not supposed to come but came anyway. Her purple backpack was on the floor next to the couch, the backpack she had sat on in the parking lot. The backpack that was waterproof because I bought the waterproof version at Target in August, because waterproof is what a truck driver buys when the truck driver knows that the weather is not always cooperative, and the surfaces are not always dry, and the preparedness is the love, and the love is the backpack, and the backpack was the only dry seat in a parking lot where the family did not come. I made the calls from the truck cab, parked at the Jackson warehouse lot, engine off, overhead light on, phone in my hand. And the hand was steady because the hand that grips a steering wheel for 12 hours does not shake when it dials a bank. Call 1. 8 p.m. The mortgage company. I identified myself as the supplemental payer on account ending 66 one time. I informed them that the supplemental payment of $1,100 would not be made this month or any subsequent month. The representative noted the account. The note was permanent. The next mortgage statement would show $2,000 due instead of the $900 Tarn was accustomed to. And the $2,000 would be the first full mortgage bill Tarn had seen in 3 years, because the first $1,100 had been arriving from a truck driver's checking account without a thank you or an acknowledgement or a sentence that says, "The house is standing because the son is paying." I almost did not cancel the mortgage. The mortgage is the house. The house is shelter. Tarn's pension cannot cover $2,000. The cancellation could mean late payments, credit damage, and the specific financial spiral that begins when a fixed income meets a variable expense. But the Ring camera stopped me. The doorbell footage showed Tarn's truck in the driveway at 5:44 p.m. Running, exhaust visible. The truck was 12 minutes from the school. The truck did not move. The truck stayed in the driveway for 3 hours while the chat played out and the girl sat on a backpack, and the dispatcher's wife drove 15 minutes and the grandfather drove 0. The 0 was the distance Tarn traveled for his granddaughter, and the 0 was the number that stopped me from keeping the mortgage active. Call 2. 8:15 p.m. The auto lender. I requested cosigner removal on the Nissan Sentra, loan ending 2241. Ula's credit score could not sustain the loan independently. The removal would trigger requalification. The requalification would fail. The loan would default. I almost kept the cosign. The car is transportation. Without it, Ula takes the bus. The bus adds 40 minutes to her commute, but the sentence stopped me. Your kids should learn nobody is coming. The sentence Ula typed about my daughter. The sentence that was typed from a house that is 20 minutes from the school by car, the car whose loan my signature holds. Nobody is coming. The nobody included the car I co-signed. And now the car is leaving. Call 3. 8:20 p.m. The phone carrier. I removed Marl's line. The $75 per month was done. The 3 laughing emojis were the last data that line would carry on my account. Call 4. 8:25 p.m. The cable provider. I canceled the parents' cable and internet package. $145 a month. The cancellation would process within 24 hours. Tarn's ESPN and Nev's Hallmark would go dark by tomorrow evening. I almost left the cable running. Cable is comfort. Tarn is retired. The TV is his evening. But the recliner stopped me. The recliner where Tarn sat while the chat happened. The recliner that faces the TV, that faces the man who watched the chat and did nothing. The TV was the comfort of a man whose comfort was funded by a son he would not help, and the comfort was done. At 8:30 p.m., I screenshotted the family chat and posted it to the extended family WhatsApp. 14 members. The screenshot showed everything. My message asking for help, Nev's absolutely not, Ula's nobody is coming, Marl's 3 laughing emojis, Tarn's silence. And my that tells me enough. I added one line. My daughter sat in a school parking lot for 47 minutes. My parents live 12 minutes away. My sister lives 20 minutes away. Nobody drove. My dispatcher's wife drove. The responses arrived within minutes. Aunt Calla, Neve, is this real? Uncle Ross, the girl is 11 years old. 11, and you sent laughing emojis? Cousin Dana, who says nobody is coming about a child? Nev did not respond. Ula did not respond. Marl could not respond because his phone was dead. Tarn did not respond because Tarn does not respond. The silence from the Russ branch in the extended chat lasted 6 days, and the 6 days were the loudest silence the family had produced since the 47 minutes in the parking lot. Welcome back to Betrayal Unfolded. If you are the father on I-40 whose dispatcher's wife picked up his daughter because his own mother said absolutely not, and his own sister said nobody is coming, hit subscribe. Because the chat is in 14 phones and the mortgage is canceled, and the 917 call is about to land on the father who said nothing. 9:17 p.m. I called Tarn. He answered on the 3rd ring. The answering of a man who has seen the caller ID and knows the call is coming and does not want to answer, but answers because the not answering would be the same silence from the chat, and the same silence from the chat is the thing that produced this call, and the call requires an answer, because the silence has already been documented. Dad, Dre, the voice was low. The low of a man who has been sitting in a house for 3.5 hours knowing that the chat was wrong, and the sitting was wrong, and the silence was wrong, and the wrongness has been accumulating in the recliner. Where the sitting happened and the accumulating has a cost, and the cost is about to be delivered. You were home at 5:44 p.m. I know because I checked the Ring doorbell camera I installed at your house last year. Your truck was in the driveway at 5:44 when Mom typed absolutely not. It was in the driveway at 5:48 when Ula typed nobody is coming. It was in the driveway at 5:49 when Marl sent the emojis. You were 12 minutes from the school. Your truck was running because the camera shows exhaust. You could have driven. You chose not to. You chose silence. The silence that has been your contribution to every conversation about Henna since she was born. I did not think she was in danger. She was at a school. She was in a parking lot, Dad, after dark. Alone, she is 11 years old. She sat on her backpack for 47 minutes because the curb was wet and the backpack was the only dry surface. And the dry surface was all she had because nobody in her family would drive 12 minutes to give her a car seat and a drive home. Your mother made the decision. I did not agree with it. You did not disagree with it either. You did not type, I will go. You did not pick up your keys. You did not walk to your truck that was running in the driveway. You read absolutely not, and you read nobody is coming, and you read 3 laughing emojis about your granddaughter, and you added the most powerful response in the chat, which was nothing. Nothing from the man with the truck in the driveway. Nothing from the grandfather 12 minutes away. The nothing was the agreement, Dad, and the agreement has a cost. I paused. I let the pause sit. The pause was the silence returned to the man who sent it. The mortgage supplement is canceled. $1,100 a month. 3 years. $39,600. Done. Ula's car cosign is being removed. $310 a month. 2 years. $7,440. Done. Marl's phone is dead. $75 a month. 3 years. $2,700. Done. Your cable and internet are canceled. $145 a month. 2 years. $3,480. Done. Total from the truck driver. $53,220. To the family that would not drive 12 minutes for his daughter. Dre, be reasonable. The mortgage. The mortgage is $2,000 a month. Your pension covers $900. The gap is $1,100. The gap was mine for 3 years. 36 months. The gap is now yours. You have been watching ESPN on a cable plan I pay for while your granddaughter sat on a backpack in a parking lot 12 minutes from your truck. The ESPN is done. The mortgage is done. And the 12 minutes you did not drive are the most expensive 12 minutes of your retirement. I could hear Tarn breathing. The breathing was heavier now. The heavy breathing of a man whose retirement math has just been recalculated, and the recalculation removed $1,100 per month in mortgage, and $145 per month in cable, and $75 per month in his younger son's phone, and $310 per month in his daughter's car, and the total monthly withdrawal from the family's finances was $1,630, and the $1,630 was the monthly cost of silence and laughing emojis, and absolutely not, and nobody is coming. Nobody came for my daughter. Now nobody comes for your mortgage, your car payment, your cable, or your phone. That tells me enough. I ended the call. The ending was the tap of a screen in a truck cab in Jackson, Tennessee, and the tap was the period at the end of a sentence that started with "my daughter is stranded" and ended with "that tells me enough," and the enough was $53,220 and a truck in a driveway that did not move for a girl who waited 47 minutes. Nev called at 9:30 p.m. 13 minutes after the Tarn call. The 13 minutes were the time it took for Tarn to tell Nev what the call contained, and for Nev to process the numbers: $1,100 mortgage gone, $145 cable gone, $310 car going, $75 phone dead. The processing produced the specific panic that arrives when a woman realizes that the absolutely not she typed about her granddaughter has produced an absolutely not from her son about every bill he was paying. I will pick Henna up from school every day from now on. I will apologize to her directly. And I will talk to Ula about what she said. Just restore the payments, Dre. This does not have to be permanent. We can work this out. She sat alone in a parking lot for 47 minutes, Mom, after dark. On a backpack. 11 years old. You were 12 minutes away. Your car was in the garage. You could have been there in 12 minutes and you chose to type absolutely not, and you should have planned better. Your apology is 12 minutes late by 12 minutes and 47 minutes late by everything else. I was upset. You always call at the last minute. The last minute was 5:30 p.m. The bus left at 5:10. The science fair ran late. The running late was not my planning. The running late was a school event. And the call at 5:35 was a father asking his family for help, because the father was 180 miles away and the family was 12 minutes away, and the help was a 12-minute drive. The help you typed absolutely not to. Restore the mortgage, Dre. Your father cannot cover $2,000 on his pension. The mortgage supplement is canceled. Mom, the cable is canceled. Marl's phone is off my plan. And Ula's cosign is being removed. The offer expired when the laughing emojis arrived. And the laughing emojis arrived at 5:49 p.m., which was 1 minute after your daughter typed, "Nobody is coming about my daughter," which was 5 minutes after you typed, "Absolutely not about my daughter." The timeline is in the chat. The chat is in 14 phones. And the mortgage is no longer in my checking account. Nev did not respond. The not responding was new. The first time Nev had been on the receiving end of a silence that cost $1,245 per month, and the receiving was different from the delivering, because the receiving includes a bank statement, and the statement does not care about apologies or promises or daily pickups. The fallout arrived the way silence arrives when the person filling it stops, completely and without negotiation. The mortgage statement arrived the following week. $2,000 due. Tarn's pension covered $900. The remaining $1,100 was the gap. The gap that had been invisible for 3 years was now on paper, and the paper was the first mortgage document Tarn had looked at since the supplement began, because looking at the mortgage was the son's job the way driving to the school was the son's job, and both jobs were now Tarn's. The cable went dark Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. The screen in the living room showed no signal where ESPN had been. Nev's Hallmark channel was replaced by a blue screen. The TV that had been on from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day for 2 years was dark, and the dark was the shape of a $145 monthly bill that had been funded by the truck driver whose daughter the TV watcher would not pick up. Ula's Nissan Sentra entered requalification review. Her credit score, 510, failed the threshold. The lender sent a 30-day notice. Ula called me twice. I did not answer. The not answering was the response. The same response the family gave to the chat, silence. The car that was 20 minutes from the school and did not move was now 30 days from a flatbed, and the flatbed was the shape of nobody is coming applied to a Nissan instead of a child. Marl's phone stayed dead for 9 days. He bought a prepaid plan at $35 a month. The first thing he saw on the new phone when he opened the family chat was his own 3 laughing emojis. Still there. Time-stamped 5:49 p.m., the permanent record of a man who laughed at a girl in a parking lot on a phone that was paid for by the girl's father and is now paid for by the man who laughed. The Ring doorbell footage was saved to cloud storage. Tarn's truck in the driveway at 5:44 p.m. Running, exhaust visible. 12 minutes from the school. The footage was the evidence that the silence was a choice, and the choice had a truck and a driveway, and 12 minutes, and an 11-year-old, and the choice was stay. Friday evening. My living room. I was home. The truck was parked in the driveway. The route was done. The week was done. 5 days of highway and warehouses and loading docks, and the specific exhaustion that a truck driver carries on a Friday evening. The exhaustion that sits in the shoulders and the lower back and the eyes and the hands that have been gripping a wheel for 60 hours and are now gripping nothing, because the gripping is done and the done is home. Henna was asleep on the couch with a blanket pulled to her chin and her shoes on the floor and her purple backpack on the carpet next to the shoes. The backpack that she sat on in a school parking lot for 47 minutes was on the floor of a living room where the person who comes for her lives. The homework was done on the coffee table, 3 worksheets and a science fair report. The same science fair that ran late and caused the missed bus and started the chat that ended the funding. The TV was off. The house was quiet, with the specific quiet that a house has when a child is asleep and a father is home, and the home is the place where the coming happens, and the coming is not conditional, and the coming does not require a family chat or a 12-minute drive or a text that says, absolutely not. The coming is the truck in the driveway and the keys on the counter, and the father standing in the doorway looking at his daughter sleeping on a couch with a blanket and a backpack, and the specific safety that exists when the person who is supposed to come has come. Her phone was on the counter. One text, sent at 8:40 p.m. before she fell asleep. I read it standing in the kitchen with my keys still in my hand and my boots still on and the road still in my shoulders. Made it through the week, Dad. See you when you get home. 12 words. The 12 words were the opposite of every word in the family chat. The chat said absolutely not. The text said see you when you get home. The chat said nobody is coming. The text said made it through the week. The chat had laughing emojis. The text had no emojis. The text was 12 words from a girl who made it through the week. The week that included 47 minutes on a backpack and a family that said nobody is coming, and a dispatcher's wife who came anyway, and a father who was 180 miles away and is now standing in the kitchen reading a text that says, "Someone is coming." The someone is the father. The father is home. The backpack is on the floor. The girl is on the couch. The week is done. The road is done. And the coming was enough. Welcome back to Betrayal Unfolded. If this story reminded you that the person who drives 600 miles a week for other people's freight deserves a family that will drive 12 minutes for his daughter, and that a dispatcher's wife will show up when a grandmother will not, share it tonight. Hit subscribe, drop a comment, and tell me, has your family ever told your child nobody is coming while you were on the road working to keep them funded? I will see you in the next one.